Students, I am Dr. Pallavi Gupta. Today I am discussing how the presidential election shall be conducted. So it will be the part of part 3 as the election of president part 3. Here I will discuss how the presidential election shall be conducted. So the topics for the discussions are the election, the power of the election commission, appointment of returning officer and assistant returning officer, what shall be the timetable for election, how the candidate shall be nominated, and what shall be the amount of this what shall means how the nomination shall be scrutinized, and what shall be the ground for rejection of nomination, and then recording of the decision by the returning officer, and the withdrawal of the candidate if there is only one candidate, uncontested election or the contested election, what will happen, and the how the poll shall take place, counting of the votes and declaration of the result. That these are the topics for the discussion today. Yes. Uh, as we know, Election Commission is having a power under Article 324 of the Constitution of India to conduct the election. So, accordingly, the Election Commission of India is the will superintendent that give the direction and control the conduct of the election to the office of president. And in fact, this is the election commission which set the process of a presidential election in motion by a notification calling upon the electoral college to elect the president. All the other arrangement for the conduct of his election, like the provision of ballot paper boxes and other election material, printing of ballot papers, etc., are also made by the commission itself under its own direct superintendence and control. Election commission shall appoint the returning officer, of course with the in consultation with the central government. Election commission shall appoint the returning officer to conduct the election under the superintendent's direction and control of the commission, and to assist returning officer, assistant returning officer shall also be appointed. Yes, what shall be the timetable for election? Election notification. In the case of vacancies arises in the normal course on the expiration of the term of office of an outgoing president, the election commission shall issue a notification calling upon the electoral college to elect a successor on or as soon as the conveniently, maybe after the 16th 60 days, means before the 16th day before the expiration of the term of the office of the outgoing president. It means the process for the presidential election has to start within the period of 60 days before the incumbent president is due to retire, so that it is completed well in time as per section section 4 subclause 3 of the Presidential or Vice Presidential Election Act 1952. Regarding the period for making nomination, the nominations for a presidential election commences on the day on which the notification calling the election is published. The nomination can be made within a further period of 14 days from the date of the publication of the election notification, meaning thereby a period of 15 days, including the day on which the notification is issued, is provided for making nomination. And the scrutiny of the nomination, the day immediately following the last day for making the nomination is the day for the scrutiny of the nomination. The nomination, the scrutiny of the nomination shall be taken up the next day if there is any public holiday. And after the scrutiny of the nomination, 2 days are provided for the withdrawal of the candidature. And regarding the date of poll, the poll for a presidential election can be taken on a day earlier than the 15th day after the last date for withdrawal of the candidature. It means there has to be a minimum interval of 14 clear days between the last date for the withdrawal of the candidature and the date of poll. The poll can be taken on a public holiday if the election commission so fix. The date of the notification and the dates for the other stages of election shall be so appointed by the election commission that the election will be completed at such time as will enable the president thereby elected to enter upon his office on the day following the expiration of the term of the office of the outgoing president. This is section 4. In this slide I have discussed that notification shall be issued to conduct the election and for the nomination, for the scrutiny of the nomination and for the withdrawal of the candidature, and when the poll shall be take place. So here the timetable for the candidature. And next is regarding the nomination of the candidate. A person who is qualified to be elected to the office of president may be nominated as a candidate for the election under section 5A. Such a nomination has to be made in the prescribed form as required by the rules. Regarding the number of proposers and seconders, every nomination paper completed in the prescribed form and subscribed by the candidate assenting to the nomination has to be subscribed by at least 50 electors in the electoral college as proposer and by at least another 50 electors as seconders under section 5B. And in the case of Charan Lal Sahu versus Neelam Sanjeeva Reddy, here there was an issue. There was issue that within the time and what shall be the number of the proposer and seconders. So it was held that the stipulation that a nomination paper of a candidate for the presidential election shall be subscribed by certain proposers and seconders is a reasonable requirement relating to regulation of such election as permissible under Article 71 subclause 3, and it cannot be held to be a curtailment of the right of a qualified candidate to stand as a candidate under Article 58, nor is such provision in conflict with Article 14 as it is mentioned in the Charan Lal Sahu versus Fakhruddin Ali Ahmed case. Yes. and then the candidate signing on the nomination paper. There can be no legal objection to a nomination paper being signed by a candidate even before the proposer or seconders have signed the same. At the time of the fifth election in 1969, it was observed that the nomination paper of a certain candidate had been signed by them on a date which was prior to the date on which the proposer or seconder had signed them in token of their proposal to nominate such candidate. The returning officer accepted this nomination paper and an issue was raised before the Supreme Court in the election petition calling in question that the election whether acceptance of the nomination of the above mentioned candidate was improper. The Supreme Court held in the Shiv Kirpal Singh versus B.B. Giri in 1970 that after a detailed examination of the judicial pronouncement on the subject and legislative history of the relevant provision in law, that it was held that the nomination paper of the aforesaid candidate were rightly accepted by the returning officer. And regarding this amount of security to be deposited by the candidate and manner of making the deposit. Originally, it was there was no security deposit was required to be made by a candidate for presidential election. But in order to curb the tendency of non-serious candidates jumping into the election arena for the higher elective office, it was considered desirable to prescribe some security deposit for the candidate at the election. Therefore, amendment was made in 1974 to provide that a candidate shall not be deemed to be duly nominated for the election unless he deposit a sum of rupees now 15,000 as security. In the case of Charan Lal Sahu versus Fakhruddin Ali Ahmed, Supreme Court held that power under Article 71 subclause 3 and Article 246 subclause 1 entry 72 in list 1 of the 7th schedule to the constitution was sufficient to enable parliament to make the above provision. As initially there was amount of the security was 2,500 which was raised to 15,000 by an amendment in 1997. So it was challenged there. And in the case of Charan Lal Sahu versus Neelam Sanjeeva Reddy, the Supreme Court also held that the above provision was not in conflict with Article 14 or 58. And again in Charan Lal Sahu versus Fakhruddin Ali Ahmed, it was held that a person who had not made the security deposit under Section 5C was not a candidate either duly nominated or one who could claim to be so nominated. So regarding the amount of security, it is 1500. If anyone fails to submit this to deposit this security, will not be considered a candidate for election. And regarding the manner of making the deposit, the security deposit has to be deposited by the candidate with the returning officer in cash at the time of the presentation of his nomination paper. And although alternate is there, he can make such deposit in the Reserve Bank of India or in the government treasury. There is no provision to deposit the security money by way of check. This is not a requirement of the law. If a candidate files more than one nomination paper for the same election, he is required to make only one deposit and not separate deposit in respect of each such nomination papers. If the Yes, if the security deposit made by a candidate is returned to him, the security deposit made by a candidate is returned to him if his nomination is rejected, or he withdraw his candidature within the prescribed time and in prescribed manner, or he is elected at the election where he is defeated, the number of ballot votes polled by him exceed 1/6 of the number of the votes which is necessary to secure the return of a candidate at the election, meaning thereby these are the grounds when the security deposit shall be returned under section 20A. In all other cases, the security deposit of a candidate is forfeited to the central government. Yes, regarding the presentation of the nomination paper, by whom and where can be presented. The nomination paper can be presented either by the candidate or by any of the proposer or seconders. Under section 5B, it has to be presented by any of them in person to the returning officer. It cannot be sent by post. So I have here showing you three pictures. That is the time, how the time is important, it should be, and how the security are deposited in cash, and the nomination, presentation of the nomination. Regarding the time for filing nomination paper, the nomination papers for the presidential election have to be presented on the day during the period prescribed for the purpose between the hours of 11 o'clock in the forenoon and 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The returning officer shall not accept any nomination paper either before or after the aforesaid prescribed hours as per section 5B subclause 3. So, what are the essential requirement of a valid nomination? So, regarding this, it has to be mentioned that there are a number of requirements that must be fulfilled by a candidate for his valid nomination for a presidential election. Number 1, he must be qualified under the constitution and law for being chosen as the president. He must file his nomination paper in the prescribed form. The nomination paper must be presented in person to the returning officer either by the candidate himself or by any of a proposer or seconder. Number 3, he can file a maximum of 4 nomination paper for the same election. Each such nomination paper must be subscribed by at least 50 electors as proposer and 50 electors as seconders, and also subscribed by him as assenting to the nomination. And the nomination paper must be filed only during the hours between 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. on any of the days prescribed for the purpose. The candidate must deposit or cause to be deposit an amount of ₹15,000 as security. Such security must be made in cash with the returning officer or in a Reserve Bank of India or a government treasury. Each nomination paper must be accompanied by a certified copy of the entry in the current electoral roll of parliamentary constituency in which the candidate is registered as elector. It is worth to mention that the candidate for a presidential election is not required to file any affidavit disclosing his criminal antecedent, if any, asset liabilities, and his educational qualification, though the filing of such an affidavit is essential requirement for contesting an election to the parliament or state legislature. Yes, the scrutiny of the nomination paper, date, time, place for the scrutiny of nomination. The law specifies that the scrutiny of the nomination paper received by the returning officer shall be taken up by him on the day immediately following the last day for making nomination. And every candidate at the election is entitled to be present at the time of scrutiny of the nomination. In addition, he can also authorize in writing one of his proposer or seconder and one more person to be present along with him at the scrutiny of the nomination. Regarding the examination of nomination paper, the returning officer is required to examine such a nomination paper in the presence of the candidate and their authorized representatives. The candidate and their representative have a right to object to any of these nomination papers. The returning officer can also suo motu raise objection to any nomination papers. So, this picture is showing how this nomination paper are examining, and it should be within the time as prescribed. Yes, the grounds for rejection of the nomination. There are several grounds where the nomination of any candidate may be objected or to rejected by the returning officer on the following grounds. That number one, that on the date fixed for the scrutiny of the nomination, the candidate is not eligible for election as president under the constitution. That any of the proposer or seconder of the candidate is not qualified to subscribe a nomination paper. That is to say, such proposer or seconder is not an elector at the election. Or number 3, that the nomination paper is not subscribed by the required number of the proposer and of seconders. Or that number 4, that the signature of the candidate or any of the proposer or the seconder is not genuine or has been obtained by fraud. Or number 5, that there has been a failure to comply with any of the provision of sections 5b or 5c. That is to say that the nomination paper has not been presented in person by the candidate or any of his proposer or seconders, or nomination paper has not been delivered to the returning officer within the hours and dates prescribed for the purpose or at the place appointed for the purpose, or the candidate has failed to make the security deposit in the prescribed manner under section 5e. But the nomination of a candidate shall not be rejected on the grounds of any irregularity mentioned in number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. If the candidate has been duly nominated by means of another nomination paper in respect of which no irregularity has been committed. The nomination paper of a candidate shall not be rejected on the ground of any defect which is not of a substantial character. Certified copy of the entry in the electoral roll for the time being in force of a constituency shall be conclusive evidence of the fact that the person referred to it in that entry is an elector for the constituencies. And after the scrutiny of the nomination paper, the returning officer shall make the record of his decision, either accepting the nomination or rejecting the nomination paper, and shall make a valid list of the nominated candidate, and it shall be published at a proper place. Now, withdrawal of the candidate. Regarding the time for the withdrawal of the candidate, any candidate whose nomination has been accepted as valid by the returning officer may withdraw his candidature by giving a notice to that effect to the returning officer. Such a notice must be delivered to the returning officer before 3 o'clock in the afternoon on the last date fixed for the purpose under section 4 subclause 1 subclause c. Such a last date for the withdrawal of the candidature is the second day after the date for the scrutiny of the nomination. And regarding the effect of the withdrawal, it is a notice of the withdrawal of the candidature once delivered to the returning officer is final, and it cannot be allowed to be cancelled by the candidate even if he wishes so to do under section 6 subclause 2. And on the receipt of a notice of the withdrawal of the candidature, the returning officer shall make note of it and will affix in some important place in his office. Means once withdrawal notice has been given, it cannot be taken back. Yes, regarding the uncontested election, means there may be a situation that if after the expiry of the period within which the candidate may be withdrawn, there remains only one candidate who has been validly nominated and who has not withdrawn his candidature in the manner and within the time prescribed, the returning officer shall forthwith declare such candidate to be duly elected to the office of president under section 8 subclause A. Means uncontested election means there is no other candidate in the field to contest the election. Contested election, of course, it is the opposite of uncontested election. Meaning thereby, if there are the returning officer shall prepare the list of contesting candidate in the prescribed form, and he has to arrange the name of the candidates in English as well as in Hindi in alphabetical orders. Such alphabetical orders is determined with reference to the alphabets in Devanagari script in the list of contesting candidate. Along with the name of the candidate, his complete postal address is also mentioned so as to enable the elector to identify him with case. And the list shall be published in the official gazette of India and the official gazette of the states as well as the Union Territories. Yes, what happen if if candidate dies? Of course, election shall be cancelled. So here, if a candidate who has filed his nomination and whose nomination is found valid on the scrutiny dies after the time fixed for the close of nomination and a report of his death is received by the returning officer before the commencement of the poll, the returning officer shall, upon being satisfied to the fact of the death of the candidate, countermand means cancel the poll and report the fact to the Election Commission under section 7. The election commission thereupon commence all proceedings with reference to the election anew in all respect as if for a new election. The poll of presidential election. Regarding the date of the poll, manner, place, hour of the poll for a presidential election shall be taken on a date not earlier than the 15th day after the last day for the withdrawal of the candidature, and the election to the office of the president is held under the system of proportional representation by means of single transferable vote, and the voting at such election shall be by secret ballot. The votes at a presidential election are given by the elector in person by secret ballot in the prescribed manner. There is no provision for the votes being given by a proxy and each individual elected has to give his vote personally at the place assigned to him under section 9. Even elected in preventive detention are entitled to vote by postal ballot under Rule 26. Regarding the place of the polling, the place where the poll for a presidential election shall be taken are fixed by the Election Commission. The Election Commission is required to fix a place in the Parliament House in New Delhi and also in the premises of each state in which the Legislative Assembly of that state meets for the transaction of the business. And regarding the ballot paper design and the form of the ballot papers, before that I just would like to say that while fixing the place for taking poll for a presidential election, the election commission also fixes the hours during which the poll will be taken at each such place. The returning officer for the presidential election is appointed by the election commission as the presiding officer for conducting the poll at the place fixed at the Parliament House in New Delhi. And in other state legislative assembly and union territories, the assisting returning officer shall be the presiding officer. Regarding the design and form of the ballot paper, the ballot papers for the presidential elections are printed in such forms and design as the election commission may direct. Under the commission's direction, these ballot papers are printed in two colors, in green colors for the member of parliament and in pink color for the member of state legislative assembly. In all these ballot papers, the name of the contesting candidate are printed in the same order in which their names appears in the list of contesting candidate. According to the new instructions in May 2015, the Election Commission instruction of the Election Commission, the photographs of the candidate will also be printed along with his name on the ballot paper at all elections to be held. On the green ballot paper for use by the member of parliament, the names of the contesting candidate are printed in Hindi and English. The name of the contesting candidate on pink ballot paper for use by member of state legislative assembly are printed in English and the official language of the state concerned. The election commission shall got manufactured special ballot boxes for the use at presidential election. At each of the place fixed for the poll for a presidential election, a candidate can be represented only by one person who is authorized by him in writing. The candidate, however, has a right to be present at any place of poll. This is regarding admission to place of polling. Regarding the manner of recording of the votes, if an elector obtains a ballot paper to cast his vote but then changes his mind and decided not to use the same, he shall return the ballot paper to the presiding officer. The presiding officer shall cancel such ballot paper and keep it in a separate envelope so that it is not taken up for the counting. Yes, the votes for a presidential election shall be counted by or under the supervision of the returning officer under section 10. Such counting shall take place at his office in New Delhi. And all the ballot boxes used at the poll are opened one by one in the presence of the candidate and their authorized representative, who are permitted to examine the seals put thereon and satisfy themselves that the same has not been tampered with in any manner. Before that, I would like to say that the poll shall be closed uh, at as per the schedule fixed by the returning officer, and the vote shall be recorded as per the prescribed manner. Yes, regarding the time place of the counting, it shall be counted by the by the authorized person, and in the supervision of the returning officer at his office in New Delhi, and the ballot boxes shall be opened in front of the person who are authorized to check the seal and all, and there are several grounds for rejection of the ballot papers. The returning officer shall reject a ballot paper as invalid on which the figure number 1 is not marked, or the figure 1 is not marked opposite the name of the more than the figure number 1 is marked opposite the name of the more than one candidate, or is so marked as to render it doubtful to which candidate it is intended to apply, or the figure number 1 and some other figure are marked opposite the name of the same candidate, or any mark is made by the elector may after be identified. So these are the grounds where the returning officer shall reject the ballot paper under rule 31. So I am just showing this number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 this because the elector has to give the preference. If they have given preference 1 to number of candidates, then it shall be rejected. And then I can say a ballot paper shall also be invalidated if the preference thereon are not marked in figure number 1, 2, 3, etc., but are indicated in words like 1 ONE, 2 TWO, 3 THREE, like this. In the case of a postal ballot paper, it shall also be rejected if the signature of the elector on the declaration and attestation form received with the ballot paper is not duly attested by the authority. And after that, the result shall be declared by the returning officer, and it shall be reported to the concerned officer. Means after the counting of the vote is complete in all aspects and the result of the voting has been determined in the manner prescribed, the returning officer shall announce the result of the election to those present in the place of counting as per rule 35, and then returning officer shall prepare the result and certify a return of the election in the prescribed form. And after that, the returning officer shall report the result of election to the central government and the election commission after the result of the election has been declared by him. So this is all about the election of the president, how it took place, how the poll took place, how the counting took place, how the result shall take place. The next topic for the discussion will be the election of president part 4, means the dispute of presidential election. Thank you very much for listening me and watching me. Bye bye.